Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and we've got some news coming in about Erling Haaland, Jadon Sancho, Eric Bailly, Cristiano Ronaldo and a lot more on this afternoon show. But first of all, we're going to be starting to talk about Erling Haaland. I am showing off the new mug range because mine just came today. I told you we've got some new mugs, and we have. You can get yours through the link in the video description. I'll show you all the different colours in a minute, but there we go. Let's start off with Erling Haaland then. This is coming from The Telegraph. It's coming from James Ducker, who is a good journalist. I'd put him on pretty reliable when it comes to Manchester United news. So it's coming from a good outlet. And he's basically saying that Manchester United are already reluctant to enter a bidding war for Erling Haaland this summer, with Manchester City, Chelsea and Real Madrid lining up to sign him. Now, this is no surprise to me. It might be a surprise to some of you. It might be a disappointment to some of you. But it's been illogical from day one. I don't know why this story is coming out. I don't know where it's coming out about Manchester United signing Erling Haaland. There's even a story from Spanish outlets today that Erling Haaland is getting constant phone calls from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trying to get him. It just comes across as desperate. And you know when someone breaks up with you and they don't want to get back with you? It comes across a little bit like that. We had our chance Christmas before last when he went from Salzburg to Dortmund. That was our big chance. That was our big play. And we blew it. And it just feels that this time it's like we're desperate to get a player we're not going to get. We haven't got the money. There's better places for him to go. But we're still sort of like, please remember me. I know you. We're mates. I trained you at Mulder. And I don't think it's going to work. And I feel sorry for Solskjaer because I think Solskjaer does want him. Who wouldn't want him? And Solskjaer does have that connection. But I feel sorry for him because you're not at a club, Ollie, that's going to give him you. And also, I'm not sure a club should give him you. And I know that's really blunt, but not because I don't think Solskjaer deserves to be backed. I do. But if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came to me and I was, Chelsea or Man City and I actually was competent and he said, I want Erling Haaland, I'd say, go and have a think about it for 10 minutes. You know, like when you used to hand your work into your teacher and they'd go, before you hand that in, go and have a look at it. I'm more than happy with it. Now, I'm giving you a hint that it's not right. Oh, okay. So go and have a think about what you just said about asking for Erling Haaland, Ollie, and then come back in, because I'm not spending £120 million on a striker when your midfield and your defence is not very good. So I wouldn't give Solskjaer £120 million to spend on Haaland anyway. But he's definitely not going to get it from our club. And I think that's what that article is saying. It's saying that Manchester United are already backing away from a deal that I don't know why we stuck our nose in anyway. I've said this. I know a lot of you've said it. Some of you maybe don't agree, but I don't understand. It's only because of where it came from. Manchester Evening News were talking about it, and a couple of other outlets saying that credible outlets, that Manchester United want Haaland, that people started to think it was going to happen. But for me, I just never emotionally engaged in this deal at all. I just never, ever, ever thought it was the right deal or a possible deal. I mean, this is a club that's net spend tends to be about 60 million. You think we're going to double that for one player that we don't actually need? It was never going to happen, especially in a COVID world. God, Man United won't shut up about the fact that it's a COVID world and they've had no fans in the ground, and yet you expect them to break their record. There were so many reasons why this wasn't going to happen. I personally think that he's probably going to stay at Dortmund for another year, and maybe we'll go for him then. But look, this story on itself doesn't end the speculation around Erling Haaland. We will get more and more of it because it's a big story, and I think it suits United to be attached to this story. But let's get real. The likelihood is that it's very, very strongly true that United are going to back out of a bidding war, because we can't win a bidding war with Dortmund for Jude Bellingham. So how are we going to win a bidding war for one of the most sought after players of the last decade? It's not possible for us, is it? Really, really isn't. Keisho says, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer keeps calling Erling Haaland in a bid to persuade his fellow Norwegian to join Manchester United from Borussia Dortmund in the summer transfer window. Yeah, that's what I read in relation to that from Spain. And Amiston says it's just a smokescreen. Haaland is not coming. The supporters are coming back in September. Real Madrid will go for him and Mbappe. I feel that potentially it is just... I don't actually see what the benefit is, but then again, I don't think United really care about being linked to a player and then not signing them. We saw that with Sancho last year. I think the Sancho deal last year was a bit of an eye opener for me in relation to even now I'm sort of confused. Why are we being linked to Haaland when it's so obvious we can't do it? But then good sources are saying that we want him, and I sort of dropped for me that after Sancho last summer. Do you think that Manchester United Football Club care about being linked to a player all summer and then not getting them? The reality is, if you listen to their shareholders meetings, they absolutely love they mention TikTok followers. They mention interactions on social media. So if they're linked with Erling Haaland, they're going to get more eyes on their TikTok and on their social media. So is it, we live in a business. Football is a business now for football clubs, and Manchester United are number one in relation to generating revenue from the football world. And does Man United make any money or generate any interest by saying we're not interested in Erling Haaland? No, they don't. If they are interested in Erling Haaland, then they'll generate interest whether they get him or not. It's our own fault. We should have signed him before Dortmund. Also, good to meet you yesterday, mate. It says NAYF Doc. Could have been a few people, but I met nice people yesterday. So, yeah, nice to meet you too as well. Bloody TikTok, do me a favour, says Roy Keane Hurley. I know you from Twitch. And if we can't win a race that no one's taking place in Sancho, says Callum Murray, how are we getting Haaland when people who want to be the best are trying to get him? Exactly. I don't know why we're in for him. I know we wouldn't win the race anyway. And to be honest with you, I'm just going to go with that story today anyway, because it's the one I've had in my head, that we won't be in this race and we won't win it even if we were in the race. It's a total waste of time. I still sit here in front of you absolutely confused as to why Man United would be putting it out there that they're in for Erling Haaland, because you've got absolutely no chance. And even if you think that this is the deal, what was worrying me a little bit before today was that they're not going to go and do this deal to try and prove a point that they're competent, because actually I think this would be really incompetent to spunk your whole budget on a player that isn't in a priority position, really. So, hopefully we're not getting him anyway, because I think that money, I suppose a level of encouragement might be that if that money's not spent on Haaland, they might spend it where they need to spend it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Haaland over before it's begun, which is what we know with this board anyway. Interestingly, sticking with Dortmund though, and sticking with the same article, which is in the Telegraph from James Ducker, there's a couple of updates here about Jadon Sancho and Eric Bailly. It says that Jadon Sancho, there is still interest in Jadon Sancho from Manchester United, which is something we've all suspected for a very long time. However, they're only interested at a lower price, which is logical. I mean, I think that Dortmund, was it 100 million they wanted last year? Manchester United would be interested at a lower price, probably more about 70, 80 million, which I still think is a lot of money for Jadon Sancho, by the way. I think, COVID has changed things, and I do think that his price should be down more around 70 to 60 million. But, Manchester United retain an interest, but Liverpool are mentioned in relation to Jadon Sancho as well. And I don't think that, I don't want to get back on the Jadon Sancho transfer race, really, to be honest with you. I mean, if they sign him and he's holding up the shirt, I'll go, that's a good signing. But I don't really want to invest weeks and months of my life again thinking we're going to sign Jadon Sancho. I've been down that 90% road and it didn't end up being 90% true, did it? So I don't want to waste my time on it. And I think that, as I said when we missed out on Sancho last year, you've still got to deal with Dortmund. Dortmund is still a pain in the arse to deal with. They've schooled us 3 times in the last year. They schooled us on Sancho, they schooled us on Bellingham, and they schooled us on Haaland. So they have got the upper hand with us, Dortmund, and they've bullied us, basically. They've took every bloody player that we wanted and kept the player that we wanted as well. So I don't trust us negotiating with Dortmund. I think they've got our number. I also think that from Sancho's point of view, it's universally understood that he wanted to come to Manchester United last summer and we didn't get him. There's even rumours that conversations were had with Sancho that we will get you, and he's had to spend another year in Germany. I just think if another club comes in that he quite fancies, that is efficient, he'll go there. I.e., I think if Liverpool come in and go, we'd like to get you, we've got the money, we're going to get you, I think he'll go to Liverpool, because Liverpool are very efficient. Look at how quick they do deals. So I think if there is competition for Sancho this year, I think we'll hear that United aren't in the race, but we won't get Sancho if Liverpool go in for him. I just can't see it. But we do need a right winger. I wouldn't turn my nose up at Jadon Sancho. As I said last summer, I still think he's the right sort of player for United. But again, it would be another player that takes up a vast amount of our transfer budget. But let's not pretend we don't need a right winger. I think we do. I still think we need a winger. Dortmund takes the piss out of us, says Jay Waters, and Chelsea will be genuine title contenders once Tuchel gets his signings in, says Khalid. Well, he will get backed in the summer. Tuchel will get backed in the summer, as we know. Whether Ollie gets backed in the summer, well, it depends what Ollie wants. If Ollie's saying, please get me Haaland with everything you've got, I mean, I'd worry about what Ollie's judgment is. But it's we'll see how it goes. So Sancho potentially still interested in there. Of course, the United aren't going to lose interest, and we have seen from United before that when they're interested in a player, this can take 18 months. So we were interested in Bruno Fernandes. We didn't get him in the summer. We got him in the January. We were strongly interested in Sancho last summer. We could get him this summer. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jadon Sancho is still Manchester United's priority this summer, and I'm sure we'll see how that develops. And Eric Bailly was mentioned in this article as well. That Manchester United, in the Telegraph again, from James Ducker, that Manchester United are in talks with Eric Bailly about a new contract, but Eric Bailly wants more game time. Now, there's another story coming from the Transfer Podcast, which is Duncan Castles, who is the person who said that Harry Maguire wants an English centre-back next to him, which I think sounds preposterous. But he said about Eric Bailly that there was an outburst last week against AC Milan, where he wasn't picked, and Bailly had a go at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about it, and he's since apologised. So this might be. I didn't think Eric Bailly was even fit for the AC Milan game last week, so I don't know. And he wasn't in the squad for the game at the weekend against Leicester. So I assumed Bailly was injured for those games. So I don't even know if this story can be true. Some people will like it to be true. Some people would agree with Eric Bailly having to go at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for not being picked against AC Milan. Part of me would as well, but you've got to respect the manager. And if you don't like it, you get out. But I did mention this last night about a new contract for Eric Bailly, and I do wonder if this negativity around Eric Bailly wanting to leave is a smokescreen to give him a new contract, because you test the water, don't you? Eric Bailly wants to leave. Oh, we don't want to get rid of Eric. Give him a new contract, and then we don't need to buy a centre back. But I don't see where Eric Bailly's more game time is going to come. And logically, as much as I like Eric Bailly, I think his injury record is appalling. And as a centre back, you can't have an injury-prone centre-back because you need them. You need them to play more than Eric has played. I think he's our best centre-back. I don't think his injury record's going to get any better. I think it's going to get worse. And if we are going to buy a centre-back, then how is Eric Bailly going to get in the team? If you can't... Look, if I'm at a football club and I'm a centre-back, right, and I'm not getting picked ahead of Maguire and Lindelof, I know I'm shit in the eyes of the manager. I know. I don't need to have a tantrum. I don't need to ask for more game time in a new contract. I'm getting my agent to get me a move, because if I'm not being picked ahead of Maguire and Lindelof, then, the manager obviously thinks I'm shit. And that's the same for Twan Sebi as well. Like, I know shit's a hard word, but not always. But it is a fair point, isn't it? If you're not being picked ahead of Maguire and Lindelof, then that manager isn't the manager for you. And that's the same for Twan Sebi as well. Like, those two lads, Bailly and Twan Sebi, should have played a lot more game time than they have. I don't think going into the manager's office saying you want more game time is going to work when you've been there. So, look, I think Eric Bailly's going to have to go, and I don't think he's going to get the game time that he wants to get, because if we buy a centre-back, you're going to be further down the pecking order. Hi, Mark. Just catching up on the morning show around DNA. If we get a new manager, is it not time we evolve our DNA? Also, around the attack, it's one of the best in the league, so centre-back and CDM is the priority, says Nick M. Well, yeah, just very quickly on that, Nick. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. We're closing in on 11,000, 1,011,000, so please do subscribe. The live counter is working. But I will answer that question from Nick. All I would say about United's DNA is when Sir Alex Ferguson came into the club, what DNA was there from Ron Atkinson? Ron Atkinson wasn't an ex-United legend, was he? He wasn't a manager that had won us the league or anything like that. And there was a bit of a drinking culture at United that was inherited with certain players. And Sir Alex Ferguson came in with his own ideas from Aberdeen, who also was not an ex-Manchester United player. Sir Alex Ferguson came in as a high-profile, up-and-coming manager who rebuilt that club from top to bottom and built a DNA that is now classed as the United DNA. Now, Sir Alex Ferguson has not been our manager. It's been Jose Mourinho, it's been Louis van Gaal, it's been David Moyes. Sir Alex... Solskjaer's come in and trying to build a DNA, but he's not trying to build a DNA. He's trying to replicate Sir Alex Ferguson era. But Sir Alex Ferguson came in and tried to replicate things from United's past around youth and style of football, but had no identity to United. Sir Alex Ferguson was not a United old boy. He came in from nothing to do with United and created a dynasty. So Solskjaer is trying to recreate Sir Alex Ferguson's DNA, which... Sir Alex Ferguson didn't try and recreate anyone else's DNA. He came in of his own accord. So I agree with Nick. Why are we so obsessed with DNA and culture when our most successful manager didn't come in with any United background and rebuilt the club. So we get obsessed by this. DNA, values, culture, it's all corporate bullshit. We've all had it when we start a new job, says Hashim. Yeah, I think, look, there are principles around Manchester United. Youth, playing the right way, and winning. You know, there are others, but it's not like some complex thing that's got to go to the forensic science service to check if you've got it running through you. I think we go overboard on United DNA, and effectively, I tell you what, if I didn't know who the coaches were and I watched United play, I'd still think Mourinho was in charge. So there's not much DNA running through the way we're playing football at the moment, and that's the most important thing. I mean, whether you're playing down the park with your mates or Saturday afternoon or in the Premier League, the most important thing is how you perform as a football team. And I don't see much United DNA in the way that we play. I think we've got players who can play that way, but we don't play the right way. And that's the most important thing Ollie needs to focus on, not getting in United old boys to run, you know, fitness and scouting and everything like that. We need to play on the pitch, and that's where it all starts for me. We were never in the race anyway, says Comic Con. So we've spoken about Eric Bailly, we've spoken about Haaland, we've spoken about Sancho. Interestingly, Marcus Rashford sat out England training today. I just want to bring this in. Now, I and some of you are stunned as to why Marcus Rashford is on England duty. It looked like he hobbled in the other day. He's not trained with England today. Why is he part of the England squad? Like, what is he doing there? And I think this is nothing to do with Rashford. Look, Rashford's one of my favourite United players. I think he's one of our most important players. And because I like Rashford, the best thing for Marcus Rashford and Manchester United fans was that he had 2 weeks away, recuperating. Going down with England and not even being able to train in the first few days shows you that he didn't even play on Sunday. He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't be part of this England squad. I don't know what is going on as to why that's happened, and I don't know why somebody at the club hasn't pulled rank and said, you're a Man United player, you're a fantastic player, we need you. And you need, you know, also Marcus, you are going to be part of the Euros squad. Do you want to just keep playing all the way through for the rest of your career? Or do you want to grab 2 weeks and recuperate a little bit? And I don't know. I mean, look, I suppose the flip side of the coin is he's doing his recuperation while he's with the lads with England. Yeah, but he's obviously going to play, isn't he, at some point? I just think Man United, you know, you go back to United DNA. I mean, are we just picking the bits that we do like and the bits that we don't like? Because Sir Alex Ferguson, absolutely not. No way would Marcus Rashford be with England this 2 weeks if Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge. And we all know that. He used to do it with Giggs all the time, you know, pulling him out of Wales squads because it's what's best for Manchester United and what's best for that player. And a lot of the reason Sir Alex Ferguson used to pull his players out of international duty was to give them 2 weeks off, to give them a bit of a rest so that they were right for Manchester United. United should sign young Norwegian centre-back Adrian Akelvik. He's quick, tall, strong and good in the air. He's the best young defender in Norway, says Dick Up. And also Rashford is risking serious injury. I don't think he's risking serious injury. I think he's I don't blame Rashford. I just think it's man management again, isn't it? If Chelsea go for Haaland, we should go for Werner. Oh God, that would not go down very well, would it? And Rashford will be finished by the 30 if he carries on as he is, says Brian. I understand the exuberance of youth. I understand why Rashford wants to play. I'm not putting it on him. I think that, you know, we've all played football, and I used to play football, and you've got an injury and you want to play. This is why you have managers. This is why you have fitness coaches. They're there to, if you leave a footballer and ask them if they want to play, most of them will just keep playing. But this is where you need management around them. People around him need to be doing what's best for him, and I don't think that is. Also, there's a story about Ronaldo coming from Fabrizio Romano. I mean, I've left it lower down in the show for a reason, really. Cristiano Ronaldo is going to stay at Juventus. So this is coming from Fabrizio Romano. He's going to stay at Juventus, and this is coming from Juventus spokesman saying that he's too important. Interestingly, David Ornstein was talking about this, another journalist in the UK, saying that it'd be too expensive for Real Madrid or Manchester United anyway. We spoke about this a few weeks ago. I'd love Ronaldo to come back to Manchester United. I don't think he can come back next year. I don't think at 37 you can bring Ronaldo back. I think at 36 you could have done it. I don't think you can do it at 37. So, the ship has sailed with Ronaldo coming back. It's a shame. Were we ever close? I don't know. Were we ever really in for him? I don't know. But the reason we can't get Ronaldo and the reason Ronaldo is going to stay at Juventus for another year is because he's absolutely minted. There's talk that he's making 20 to 30 million a year after tax. We can't afford that and a transfer fee, so we can't afford it. Real Madrid can't afford it. Nobody can afford it, so Ronaldo will stay at Juventus until next year, where at 37 he'll go somewhere. Somebody will take him, won't they? PSG will probably take him for a year or two, so, Ronaldo's not going to go anywhere. Keane said Sir Alex Ferguson's biggest strength was that he was ruthless. I simply cannot see Ollie replicating any form of Sir Alex Ferguson's management with his demeanour, says Govind. Well, look, different managers. I don't think you shouldn't be trying to replicate a manager anyway. That's not what you should be trying to do. Like football's moved on. 10 years ago, Jose Mourinho was one of the best managers in the world. Now he's not even in the top 6 in the Premier League. Like, he's not. His CV is, but as a manager, he's not. So why try and replicate something that might not even work in the modern day? Would Sir Alex Ferguson still be the greatest manager in the world at the moment? Or has football moved on? I don't know. I think he still would be, but a lot's changed since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. The way Liverpool and Man City play, I think United would be a good match for them, the way Sir Alex Ferguson played, but you don't know that. You don't know that. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Football has moved on, and I don't know. I don't know. Just on that point, and when we spoke about it more this morning, really, but I don't know on that point. I don't know whether Man United's style of play. I don't know whether we've got the coaches that are good enough for the modern game. I'm not saying they're bad coaches, but all I see is I've always said this, that counter-attacking football is far easier to tell your players to do than attacking football, because counter-attacking, just sit back, keep your shape. When you get the ball, try and hit them on the break and use the space. Far harder to beat a low block, because you've got to have tactics. You've got to have not tactics. You've got to have fluidity. You've got to have a plan. You've got to move the ball quickly, one touch. The space isn't there, so it's harder to be a team that is attacking a low block and part of the bus than it is to be the part of the bus. And I don't think we've been successful at that, really. Our DNA was a good cup team with flair and glamour, says Nigel Green. Well, I think we're more than a good cup team, Nigel. You might want to check how many Premier League titles we won. If City get Haaland, oh my God, says Kevin. I personally think that Haaland will stay where he is. I don't think anybody's going to have the 100 and something million to spend on him, if I'm absolutely honest. Please smash the like on the video, by the way. And Ollie's tactics is pass the ball to Bruno and just counter-attack, says McNally. And hi Mark, you say hello to my mate. No, I'm not going to read that out. Only Ajax player that is good is Anthony or Neres, says Raphael. And Chelsea might go. Ollie is the man. No one would do better than this, says Hamid. Nice to see a little bit of support for him. And yeah, I mean, look, apparently Haaland to Real Madrid is practically done, says Road to Dawn. I don't know where that's coming from, Road to Dawn, but I do think that Real Madrid or Chelsea, as I said yesterday, or PSG would be the right place for him to go. I don't see him going anywhere else, if I'm honest. It's as I said, it's a bit embarrassing that we've even been linked with Erling Haaland, because we all know it's a deal that we can't do, and we all know that Erling Haaland. One of the things that just sticks out to me, if you're just joining us a little bit late, there's a story coming out from the Telegraph from James Ducker that Manchester United are already retracting from any interest in Erling Haaland because they can't get into a bidding war, which, as we know. But one of the big things that always was overarching to me, I'm sure Ollie is trying to get Erling Haaland to come to Manchester United. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's the naivety that's the signing that we need. And it's the naivety that we would spend that amount of money on one player when we need 3 or 4 in other areas. And it's the naivety that I don't think Erling Haaland is managed by idiots. And I'm sure if his dad or Mino Raiola or anybody else have watched Man United this season, if you've got an asset, you want that asset to grow. Whether it's £10 in your bank account, whether it's a horse in a field, whether it's bread, whatever. You want it to expand. And I don't mean the horse needs to get fat. I mean, I'm just like, if it's a horse that you want to win races, you want it to win more races. So you're not going to want to put Erling Haaland in that United side. If I'm Erling Haaland's agent, even as a Manchester United fan, I would say, I really want you to play for Manchester United, Erling, because I love Manchester United. But I don't think that's the right move for you at the moment. Maybe in 3 years' time. Maybe we go to Madrid or Paris and see where United are in 3 years. I want you to play for United, and that's me as a United fan. But right now, I want you to become the best striker in the world. And I think at your age, if you go to United now, it might not go well for you because they don't create many chances. Better to go PSG or Spain for 3 years, and then we'll have a look at how United are then. It's not a good move for Haaland to come to United. We don't create the chances. We're a counter-attacking side, which suits him, but we don't create enough chances either. So there you go. Anyway, look, it was only a quick update. I'm sure some of you had seen it anyway, but I just wanted to get that video out there. We are live at 8 o'clock tonight. Quite a few other things to discuss, actually, just building the show for 8 o'clock. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Smash a like on the video and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I'm live at 3:30 on That's Football, doing a bit of FIFA if you want to join me for that as well. I hope you're all doing well. Would Haaland and Bellingham even have got game time if they came to us instead of Dortmund? I don't get upset because Ollie's shown he don't trust young players. Jake, I don't think Bellingham would have played for Man United if we'd brought him in as much as he's done for Dortmund, but he would have played Haaland. Ollie loves Haaland. He would have played him. Thanks for watching. Speak to you later.